Alright, much Abrew about nothing time. Playing some emerging zombies in standard. Oh, I don't like this hand. I think we got a mulligan. We just don't have any action. Well, hopefully we scry into lands or a discard outlet. Alright, we'll keep Cryptbreaker. It's not ideal. Maybe I needed to just scry for a land there. With Cryptbreaker, though, if we draw a single land, we can start discarding things. And getting back prized amalgams and haunted dead, so I think it's worth it. See what our opponent's on. Prairie Stream tapped and passes. We Cryptbreaker and pass the turn. Forest for our opponent. And Sylvan Advocate. Alright, come on, land! Land is everything here. Sunken Hollow is a land, but it's tapped. Still, it's a start. Pass the turn. Battlefield Forge for our opponent. Gets in 4-2. And Cryptolith Rites. And another Sylvan Advocate. We draw another land. Interesting. Well, let's play Sanctum of Ugin. And I think we just pass the turn for now. Yavmayakos for our opponent. And a Selfless Spirit. Gets in 4-4 with the Sylvan Advocates. Alright, let's discard Prized Amalgam. Get a zombie. Another tap land. Alright, let's play the land. And our opponent's probably going to Collected Company. Let's just kill the Selfless Spirit. Or attempt to. Opponent has a Spell Queller. Alright. Well, let's pass the turn. Opponent is down to 2 cards. Plays another land. Evolving Wilds, cracks Evolving Wilds. No waiting until end of turn over there. And a Reflector Mage. Going to bounce our zombie token. Okay. Goes attacking. We're going to take 8. Let's discard a Hunted Dead. Get a token. Distended Mindbender, not great yet. I think we actually have to discard it. So let's get back our Haunted Dead, discarding Relentless Dead and Mindbender. Which will get back our Prized Amalgam at the end of turn. Then we Dark Salvation, the Spell Queller. Which gets us back the second Dark Salvation. Then we Dark Salvation a Sylvan Advocate. And pass the turn. So we're not just dead. We get back our Prized Amalgam. It's tapped, unfortunately, but let's see what our opponent has. That was a decent turn, despite all of our tap lands really slowing us down. Another Evolving Wilds. Instacracks. And last card is an Eldrazi Displacer. So what's our opponent going to do? Goes attacking. Alright, blinks our Spirit token. Well, let's block Sylvan Advocate. See if we can draw into anything. And another land. Alright. Well, we mulliganed. We're stuck on lands, and it just generally was not a good draw for us. We do get some sideboard options. Our removal is not great, though. Maybe bring in Voldaren Prias? The problem is our removal is just very conditional. Doesn't kill Sylvan Advocate, doesn't kill Spell Queller. Even Flaying Tendrils doesn't hit those cards. So I don't know about the removal package in this deck. It's not all that appealing. Voldaren Prias seems alright just because the flip could be very strong. I think we go down a couple of Distended Mindbenders. Alright, we get to play first. Well, this actually looks like a reasonable hand, which is nice. Question is, do we play a tap land into Jace? Or do we just Crypt Breaker? Problem is, Crypt Breaker doesn't do anything on turn 1. Let's just play Submerged Boneyard. Pass the turn. Opponent insta-cracks Evolving Wilds. Guess that's not surprising. Swamp and Jace. And pass the turn. Island for our opponent, and Sylvan Advocate. Now let's loot with Jace, see if we hit a land. We do not. Well, let's just discard Prized Amalgam, play a Relentless Dead, a Sunken Hollow, and pass the turn. Prairie Stream for our opponent. Gets in 4/2. And a Reflector Mage. On our Jace, we get a Mindbender that we can't cast yet. So let's just Diagraph Colossus and pass the turn. Since we have a Amalgam in the graveyard, it's a 3/3. Can block either of our opponent's creatures at this point. Cryptolith Rites for our opponent. And passes. Ooh, we get a Grasp of Darkness. Interesting. Well, let's play a Jace. Our opponent's going to try to Collected Company. Sylvan Advocate and Duskwatch. We get a Jace. And then Crypt Breaker, make a zombie token. And pass the turn. Well, we're kind of going wide this time, and our opponent's kind of getting low on cards. They have a Tireless Tracker. That's going to let them generate some card advantage, slowly. They're down to 1 card right now, though, and they can't really attack. Let's start by looting with Jace. Kind of want to find lands. Crypt Breaker. Well, let's discard Relentless Dead and just Diagraph Colossus. Get another zombie token. And a 4/4. And pass the turn. Oh, I wish we were hitting lands. If we were making our land drops, we could have played Crypt Breaker there too, and things would be so much better. Activates Duskwatch. Gets an Eldrazi Displacer. Eldrazi Displacer's okay, but it's also sort of slow. Activates Duskwatch. Gets another Eldrazi Displacer. Evolving Wilds cracks it, gets a couple clue tokens. Opponent gets a Plains. There's Eldrazi Displacer. And opponent's going to go attacking, eh? Yeah, let's just take it for now. Down to 10. Oh, we get a tap land. Oh my goodness, this deck. Loot with Jace. There's an untap land, finally. Well, let's discard the Mindbender. Play the Swamp. Play Diagraph Colossus. Get some more zombies. Play Crypt Breaker. Get a bunch more zombies. And pass the turn. If this hand wasn't so clunky, we'd be doing alright. We just have had a lot of mana troubles, even with looting with Jace and things like that. Kind of disappointing. Opponent activates Duskwatch. Gets a Tireless Tracker. Sacks a Clue to draw a card. And sacks a Clue to draw a card. Opponent untaps. We are making a lot of zombie tokens. That's the good news. Battlefield Forge gets our opponent a clue. Opponent is tapping out for a Planar Outburst with Awaken. Well, let's draw a card. And draw a card. Land in a Diagraph Colossus. We lose all our stuff. We can't get back our Relentless Deads because we don't have the mana. Because this deck is very bad at drawing lands in the early game. And then an Eldrazi Displacer for our opponent. Opponent gets in for 4. We draw land. Well, let's Grasp of Darkness, Eldrazi Displacer. Sunken Hollow, play a Diregraph Colossus, and lose to a Reflector Mage. Our Diregraph Colossus is a 10/10, which is pretty impressive. Unfortunately, it is unlikely to matter. Opponent has a Duskwatch Recruiter. And another Duskwatch Recruiter. And a Tireless Tracker. Well, let's see if we draw anything. A Haunted Dead. Well, that theoretically could keep us alive if our opponent has nothing. We get a zombie. We get a Haunted Dead. We get a Spirit Token. Odds are our opponent's just going to find a Reflector Mage or something, though. Pass the turn. Opponent cracks their clue, pumps up their Tireless Tracker, goes to combat, and passes. Flips their Duskwatch Recruiters. Gonna activate in response. Gets a Dragonlord Slumgar. And we draw land, and that's the game. Oh my goodness. So far, this deck has been extremely frustrating.